Hello and welcome everyone back to our Moneyball series. So this episode is going to run as follows. We're going to do some scouting, looking for some strikers in particular in the January transfer window here. We're going to go through some of the negotiations. I'll show you some of the players I'm looking at. I'll mainly try and cut to the players that it looks like we might actually have a chance of getting. And then we'll do 2 games in today's episode. So we're going to have the intro, we're going to come back, and we're going to start looking at some players. Welcome back, everybody. So, yeah, I'm going to be out the way this time up in the top left corner, so you can make sure you see all the stats with me. I've just basically loaded up the same stats we were trying to buy in the summer. I've loaded up exactly the same ones, but changed a couple to try and make more players populate early on, then we can always cross-reference it later. The first player that's caught my mind here is Gabriel Poveda right down here. Now, he's playing at the Portuguese 3rd Division, which isn't great, but I had a quick look at him. Just because there are other clubs that wanted him, I just thought, okay, let's have a quick look. And in the 2nd division in Brazil, he scored 16 goals last season, which is impressive, 20 and 52 overall. And this season, he scored 10 and 20 in the Portuguese 3rd division as well. So, not the best standard of football, but he has played well twice in 2 different divisions so far in the game. So, I thought it was worth at the very least a look, because his contract's up at the end of the year, and he's on like £200 a week. So we have Ollie Christensen Sater. I'm not sure how to pronounce this name here, but he scored 10 in 32. He scored a lot more last season as well for Rosenborg, both in the Norwegian top division. So I'm going to give him a scout, but he's 27 from the Norwegian league. We'll see how he gets on. Okay, so there's somebody who came up a couple of times in my searches, and I didn't really pay too much attention to him just because his valuation was a little high, but he could be an option here. It's Daichi Hayashi, the Japanese forward in the Belgian league. So I've just gone onto his actual club here, his club page, look at his stats in one more detail. I'm also just looking through manually at the leagues now, because basically I can't find in my search a lot of players I'm looking for. So what I'm doing now is literally going through manually, league by league that I've got loaded, and checking player stats to see if I can find anybody, at least for now anyway. So Hayashi looks all right. I'm going to scout him, see what the scouts come back with, because it's a bit expensive. I could probably just about scrape it. If he was the one striker that could do the job, I could probably stretch it for him, right? So, we'll see. Okay, Mikael Kaufman here as well. Right, 6'3", plays for Copenhagen. He's worth 300 grand to 3 million, so quite cheap. 9 goals in 9 starts. Just double checking that is goals for you there, yeah. I mean, minutes per goal isn't bad. Conversion rate's not good. But conversion rate's pretty good. Shot on target percentage is really high. I think we had 54% was the one we were looking at. Like, that's quite good. Header-1 ratio is okay. Across the board, he's quite good. He's 6'3", so he's another player in that sort of big player model, or mould, rather. So there's a reason why I might get a big striker as well. So I'm going to probably accept this offer from Passy, but as you can see here, I had an offer of 1.5 million for Morgan. Now, Morgan just stopped scoring for us. So do I take it? Initially, I offered him out just to see, for one, how much will I get if I did sell him? The answer is 1.5 million. So do we take the 1.5 million for him, or do we just keep him? Because he was so good last season, but this season he's just bang average. And that money could probably invest us into 2 first-team players. Like, that could be his replacement there, if we could get a good deal for him. So I'll tell you what, let's try it. It's like 100 grand, and then like 100 over installments. Let's see if they take that. No, okay, that's a non-starter. What's really funny, I just realised that Nordsjælland are the same team that took Hamel off us, so looks like that Morgan and Hamel can be linking themselves back up together again for next season. Fair play to them. Hope they enjoy it. Okay, 2 players here for Randers Football Club in Denmark. We've got Stephen Ode and Marvin Ego. Both of them look pretty good. Both of them are scoring pretty highly across the board. Ode is a much better player in terms of conversion, and shot on target ratio of 70%. That is unreal. But he's not as good in the air. So Ego looks like he's a slightly more all-rounded player, but Ode is the clinical finisher. So let's scout those 2, see what that comes back with. Oh, could we be doing it again? Now, this is the first time this has happened. I've got a player appear in our stats we've been looking for that was in the last Moneyball series. Reist, who came in, was a good prospect and slightly underwhelming as I think the series went on. Then he was good for a bit, and eventually, I think there was different periods where it looked like he was going to be the next wonder kid. Then he was, and then he was all right again. It was just a bit of back and forth with him. Terrible in the air. Some things never change, Reist. I'm going to scout him because, like, if his name wasn't Reist, I would have looked at him closer because of his stats. And I have no idea whether he's got an increase or decrease in FM23 compared to FM22. So, yeah, I still don't know how good he is. Yeah, let's give him a go. Let's give Rice a shout. Let's give him a scout, and let's see what it comes back with. Interestingly here, this team here, Jerv, they're going to get relegated, and they're in the Europa League, so fair play to them. I'm a little restricted because I can't really get too many more South American players. That does restrict me a little bit in these other leagues compared to playing in England. So unless I'm willing to lose some of the current non-EU players that I have, but I think right now it's quite hard to do that. Willington Aponza, now I don't know how much he's going to be worth, but he's 23, Colombian player, 6'3", plays in the Portuguese Premier League, and he has got 7 goals and 13 starts. Actually, where's is he part Portuguese as well? Hopefully he is. He's not. So that might be a slight issue for us. He would be classed as one of our non-EU players. That'd be tough to do. Okay, we're here in the French second division with Let's Go Mets. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but they have Niane here playing in the second tier for them, and he has got 11 goals, 19 starts for them. Conversion rate is okay. Shot on target ratio is good. Head-on ratio is very good. Headers 1 per 90 is above the limit that we had as well. His dribbles per 90 is above what we're asking for. Open play key passes, I think we're looking for a dead on 1, and he's a bit below that, but he's pretty high on everything else, so we're definitely going to scout him. And I wonder what they'd let him go for. I'm gonna guess that valuation's wrong at the low end, and it's going to cost us a minimum of 3.3 million. Yeah, on reflection, what I might have to do is I might have to actually add a few more playable European leagues because of the fact that we've got this non-EU issue that we have. I might like get rid of maybe the Colombian division or the Chilean division to try and add another European one, just because of the fact that, I mean, I like being able to see the stats easier with the loaded league, so I'm probably going to add a couple here. Okay, I've added 3 leagues to next season's playable leagues. We're going to go with the Serbian First Division, we're going to go with the Austrian First Division, and the Greek Super League 1, which is the top Greek league as well. Just have a few more European nations in there, because we're sort of restricted with the amount of South American players that we can buy and register anyway. So I think that's slightly better to have a few more. If it runs slowly for me off camera, then I'll just probably remove one of the South American ones, either Colombia or Chile, probably Colombia, but yeah, that's the plan of action anyway for me. So that's my current setup. The nation you can't see there is just Argentina, I think, and a bit of Austria. You can see the rest anyway. So I'll put myself back down. There you go. Now you can see my full setup. So that's the list so far. There's a few players in there I've not actually got into scouting yet, because I realised last time when I tried to scout too many players at once, it just took ages and ended up going into the next season. So I've only scouted a few players for now. There's a few on there that have got no recommendation next, things not been scouted yet. Either they are in the process of being scouted or they're going to go last or next. Having a look at it. But in terms of like a replacement directly for Morgan, that's unlikely. I could easily, hopefully get, if I can get Maxence Prevo to be the backup goalkeeper for less than 100 grand, that would be nice. And I could make that exchange with selling the backup goalkeeper and getting him in. In terms of a striker, I need one of those to be at least suitable to compete at this level. Because like when we're making a transfer here, we're selling Morgan immediately, and the impact will be immediate. And the impact of losing Morgan will be immediate, but it should only really affect us a little bit this season. Next season onwards, we should be able to recover from that. But whoever we buy has to be good enough this season and in the following seasons, right? So yeah, we'll have to see. But I'm going to let some of this go through and get some of the scout reports back over the next couple of weeks. You'll join me probably around the end of January and probably look at some other positions as well. But I think for now, striker and backup goalkeeper, the 2 positions I'm looking at the most. And welcome back, everybody. So what I have been looking at is players whose contracts are expiring at the end of the season or they're transfer listed. And what I'm going to do is match them up to FM Stag's top 5 European league stats, right? Because that's what we're looking at here now. We are all of a sudden like a European place. So I've got one here, Roman Mires. He plays in the Croatian First League right here. He's got 16 goals in 26 games. Let's have a look at him right here. So for a provider, which is what he'd be as a like slightly taller link-up kind of striker, he has got headers 1 per 90 is a disgrace. Let's just ignore that. But that could be the style of football that he plays in the league that he plays in, right? It could be that. His expected assist is also quite low, but that's okay. But his non-penalty XG is pretty good. His shots on target per 90 is pretty good. And his conversion rate is also pretty good. So across the board there, he's quite good. If we look at his overall stats here, his minutes per goal is not too bad. His shot on target ratio is 59%. That's pretty good. It's better than what we were looking at before. His dribbles per 90 is over 1, which is good. His open play key pass is below 1. Like, across the board there, he's actually quite good. And as you can see, it's not his header 1 percentage that's bad. His total headers of 1 per 90. I mean, that's not great, 44%, but it's not terrible either. So he looks like a really good option. Like, he almost scores good everywhere except for header 1 ratio a little bit. And I don't know, to be honest. I think XG performance, we're looking at 5 as like our elite level. He's got 3.31. But I mean, he still scored 16 in in 26. I mean, he looks quite good. And for a free transfer, value for money, that's really, really good. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here, but Natawut Suksum in the Thai League has scored 18-25. He's basically got 0 dribbles per 90, which isn't great. But almost everywhere else, he scored really highly. Almost everywhere. Conversion, 26%. Shot on target ratio, 54%. Header on ratio, 50, which is still okay. He's really good, 18-25. Now, it's not a great standard of football, right? It's not a great standard of football, but he looks good on the stats. I mean, he scored a lot of goals. 2 years he's been in the game, since we started the save, he scored a load of goals twice. I can get him on a free transfer end of the season, but he won't speak to us because there's so many other clubs that want him by the looks of it. But if we try to buy him right now for 250 grand, we can offer him a contract. So let's do that and see what we can get for him, or see what we can get him for, rather. Yeah, that's going. Okay, let's go 8.5. You can have that. You can have 10% if you want. It's just straight up 250k, the actual transfer. So there's no kickbacks on it or anything to that nature. I'll do a bit of that. There you 8.5 grand a week. I mean, it'll be interesting to see just how far off the coaches think he is, because he looks good. He doesn't play at a great level, and the scouts do like him and seem to rate him. Also, not that the scouts like him, but he's got a good ward reputation. The scouts actually haven't given me a report yet, but a lot of clubs want him. Like, I've tried to buy players from Randers, so it's at a good enough level that he's wanted by other clubs, but that's potentially 2 strikers right there. And just to recap so far, we have sold in January. We have managed to sell Ndai for 900 grand, one of our centre-backs. He was already at the club at the start of the save, so that's just a straight 900 grand profit there. Morgan, 1.5 million. Again, he was at the club at the start, so that's 1.5 million made for us there. And in Passy, we signed him for 50 grand. We sold him for 80 grand plus kickbacks. So again, another nice little transfer there for us as well. Now, Marvin Ego is one of the 2 players from Randers that we were looking at. And I actually managed to sign him on a free transfer for the end of the season. And they wouldn't let me sign him right now for like 300 grand. But then after I'd signed him on a contract, the like buy now feature that's in the game, I was able to negotiate a transfer for 140 grand. And for somebody that looked pretty good in the air, he had scored, what had he scored in the league? 6 and 8 starts in the league. He was pretty decent in the air. I just thought he was quite a good option. So we'll see how he goes. That's quite a good transfer, I think, for us. If he's not a starter, he's going to be a good squad player, which is at least a good starting point for us. Unfortunately, he has the trait, comes to get sport, which I don't like very much, but you can't have everything. And welcome back, everybody. So we've concluded our transfers for the January transfer window now. We're going to go through them here. So we've got Edgar, as I showed you last time. We did then end up signing Natawut Suksum for 250 grand. He's not done great so far, but we'll see how he gets on. I signed Martin Bienart. He actually scored pretty good for a backup goalkeeper and the goalkeeping stats. And he was playing in the lower leagues of Belgium, and he still scored pretty good on the stats. He looked like he was quite cheap, and I don't know. And he was, according to the scouts, a tiny bit better than the other youngsters that I've got at the club. So I just thought for like, what was it, 8 grand? 8.25 grand. I mean, it wasn't really that. What it was is his contract was up at the end of the year, so I offered him a contract for the end of the season, and then instead what we did is did the buy now thing, where they then wanted 8.25 grand for him. So that was definitely worth it. And the reason I did that is Nuruddin was at the African Cup of Nations, so I actually had to play a few games with Melvin here, and Melvin was quite good. He actually played all right. And yeah, I still though wanted a slightly more longer term option for the rest of the season if there was an injury or suspension to Nuruddin, which hopefully there is not, but there we are. And then lastly here, Nayal Mesatu. Now, he looks really good. We got him for a massive 850 grand. Again, a really good deal. And now he doesn't count to the non-EU quota because he's actually part Belgian as well. So that's really important for us and really good. He's 21 years old. He's got 3 caps for Chile already. And his valuation's already gone from that to 450 grand to £2 million. According to the coaches, he has acceleration and pace, which is nice. I think he could be a really nice little player. If he's not going to be an absolute starter for us, he's at the very least going to be a really good backup. And he can also play midfield as well if we need him to. So, really nice signing. And the other thing is this. Ramon Mires was also signed for next season. So he's got a contract. He'll join us at the end of the season. And he'll be a non-EU player. So we're going to have to get our non-EU players down a little bit for him to be able to play. I'm quite excited to see how he gets on. I mean, 4 stars, according to the scouts. They think he's a really good player on a free transfer, which is really good. I managed to get one more player who's going to join us at the end of the season. Mikael Kaufmann. Now, he seems to be really well liked and known in the footballing world in my save. Inter Milan Club Brugge, a load of teams came in for him, and he actually accepted the Inter Milan contract instead of ours when we offered him one a second ago. And the move broke down because Copenhagen couldn't get a player to replace him with by the end of the window. So as soon as the end of the window came around, it got cancelled. So then immediately I made a new offer for him, exactly the same as before. It was like 400 grand up front, 400 grand again, and then like, I don't know, it might be half of the next sale. It's quite a big percentage of the next sale for this one. The rest of them have been fine, but this one I had to do it because they wanted like 5 million for him. He's a really good player by the looks of it. And they accepted it, offered him a contract, and then he signed for us. So we're going to get him at the end of the year. He is a non-EU player for us, which is really, really important. He looks like he could be a really, really good young player that's going to be almost definitely our starting striker next year, and that sort of left striker role. And then his backup would probably be Mires here. So we've already got our left striker sorted next season, I think. We've got Kaufman and Mires, who between them should both be able to occupy that left striker role pretty well. And if one of them has got a little bit of pace, they could probably play the right striker as well. But at the very, very least, we've got the left striker situation sorted going into next season, which is really nice for us. But yeah, I thought I'd show you that. It's 1.4 million in total, half of the next sale. So we'll see what we can get for Kaufman. But I'm really happy with that as a signing. He looks really, really good. And so does Mires. I'm quite happy with those two signings. Unfortunately, I currently have 5 non-EU players in the squad. Well, actually 6 who's in reserve, but we've already decided he's not going to be in the squad. Currently, I've got Maurizio Gomez unregistered, and which sounds a bit harsh considering what he was doing. But it's more of a case of I've got too many non-EU players, but Hadjam is the best player I can play out of all the backups. So, for example, if I was to take out Neris, I'd have to play Suxum as a starter and Gori as the backup, and I'd prefer to use Hadjam as a starter in that scenario, at the moment anyway. And secondly, to what I've just said there, we also have Mady Diarra, who's an okay backup. So, without using Gomez, we've still got Hadjam and Diarra. And, yeah, but Maurizio Gomez was a really good player. He had good stats. It's unfortunate that I've had to do that. It just comes down to the strength of the squad, really. Yeah, it goes back to that Moneyball situation, doesn't it? That by aggregate, overall, we're better off with Hadjam being left wing back and dropping out Gomez than we are by playing Gomez and having to drop out one of our strikers. At least what I think right now, anyway. But Gomez is a really good player, and if it wasn't down to the non-EU situation, he'd be my left wing back 100%. You know, the best thing would be to have Gomez in and everybody else, but that isn't what we can afford to do right this second. It's just a judgment call. Hadjam's still playing terribly for me, and he's still going to get sold at the end of the year, I think. But that is the situation right this second, anyway. Okay, then, 2 games in today's episode. We're going to play Strasbourg and PSG in the Paris Derby. So we're going to get into the first game here. Dabila's the only real player that's not available for this game. So everybody else should be ready to go. Your team for today's game is going to be Nuruddin in goal with Ferrezi, Talbi, and Sami across the back. Hadjam, Moreno at wing-backs. Clement and Lauenborg at pivots with Odurso as the 10 and Ego and Neris up front. We're in the pink kit. You know what that means ordinarily. This is what manager says. Media comments, okay. I'm on the way. Instant highlight here. Moreno wins it and gives it away. And they try and risky switch. Hadjam does get to this. Dribbles through the left-hand side. Crosses it. Deflected cross. Egbo gets to it. Ego, sorry. Far post Moreno. Surely it's got to be a goal, isn't it? It's got to be Hadjam. Oh, Hadjam, come on. But before we continue, results off camera. I completely forgot to show you how we've actually been doing. So that has been the results off camera. It's been okay. A couple of poor results. Had some players out for the African Cup of Nations and stuff. Currently, we are in the Europa League places, pushing for a Champions League spot. And Mbappe's got 31 goals already this season. So there you go. Hadjam wins it. We're going to counter Paris FC into Ego. Backs it across goal. And Neris, what are you doing? He skied it and he's offside anyway. Another highlight here. It's going to be played into the middle for them. They're going to build their attack down the middle. But can we win this? Ferrezi does win this. Can he release it now? Good lads. Clement into Hadjam. Hadjam gives it away. Hadjam, you're starting to wind me up, mate. They're going to build their attack in down the centre a second time. They've got a nice little 2v1 if they want to use it. Now they don't. Neris wins it. He's got options. Is he going to play it across? He does. Ego surely for his first goal for Paris. And he does. Marvin Ego gets his first goal on camera and first goal overall. 1-0 Paris. Pink Kit's run continues, except for the one game against Paris Saint-Germain. But you know, maybe we're not going to go undefeated the whole save with it, but we're going to have a pretty high win percentage. We know that. Neris, what a ball. What a goal. We are brilliant. Moreno with the throw. He's going to throw this into Neris. Neris gets the ball, plays across to Odurso. Moreno whacks it in. Oh, they give it away with Neris. Ego. And it's 2. Yes, come on. Ego has been really, really poor off camera so far since I've signed him in January, but he's coming up in a good way in this game. Him and Neris really working well as a partnership in this one, and we make it 2-0, and that's probably going to be game over, I would have thought. And going into the Paris Derby in a bit of form, we'll say things are going well. Going to take Lawnberg off and put on... We'll put our new signing now to be our CDM, even though he's in as a wing-back really for us. Highlight here. They have the ball. Sammy wins it, whacks it to Mesa. He's got options ahead of him. Suxum's another one who's been absolutely terrible since he signed for us. He carries on. He doesn't look as fast as the coach report says. He's got a penalty, though. It could be a penalty here. It is a penalty. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Mesa. Ruben Mesa with a penalty. Misses it. And they have it 2-0 to Paris FC. A good win away from home. Another win for the Pink Kits. Okay, brilliant. I will see you in 5 days for the Paris Derby. And if we win that, we could be going into the top 4. Okay, it is the Paris Derby. We have got some players missing. We have got Clement, Google obviously, and Pablo Neres all out for this game. This is a huge game. Now, I'd love to win a Paris Derby. I just want to win one as soon as we can, really. I mean, they're going to win the league. That's done. But can we win? Can we get the bragging rights for Paris? And can we be the best team in Paris for at least for today? And can we finish in the top 4? That is what we're playing for here today. Let's get into the game and come on, Paris. Okay, so the manager says, pick up where you left off, okay? Doesn't even mention that it's a big game or anything. We're going to play in our formation. What are they going to play against us? They are going to play all that formation again. Oh, okay, it's a good team. Here we go then. Moneyball versus Moneybags. 260 million versus whatever we're paying in wages. There's over a 200 million difference, isn't there, between us and them in player wages per year, as their Moneybags team starts it, but the Moneyball team takes over. Bernauer gets it. Can the Moneyball team do it from stats? It's in behind. It sucks him. Oh, and he's missed it. It was his first bloody chance for the team on camera, and he's missed it. Well, we did 35 minutes in. They've had 0 highlights. We've had the 1. We've kept all their attacking players quiet. Look at their match ratings. And they're going to get their first highlight potentially here. Hakimi, let's go in out of play. Is it? Oh, he's kept it in. Oh, dear. Hakimi goes in on goal. Is he going to shoot? He does. Instant highlight after that. Lundberg gets it. Plays it back to Dabila. Dabila's going to travel with it. Whacks it in behind. They win that. Lundberg. What are you doing, lads? Wake up, please. Messi's got it. Plays it back. They play it behind again to Hakimi. That is a slight problem, isn't it? Hadjam to give him a penalty. Hadjam, I can't wait for you to be gone next season, mate. I don't think I've ever had a player that I've been so happy with one season, then so unhappy with the next. I mean, Neymar penalty. Scores 1-0 Paris Saint-Germain. I'm going to say, show me something else. I feel like that we need to stop Hakimi a little bit. Let's put the quickest centre-back we've got on the left side. Suxum, you can get off the pitch as well, and we'll put on Gori up front. Highlight Kimpembe. Throws it into the box, it's headed away. But now he's going to get to it. He's got Gori there. Gori's just come off the bench. Takes some touches. He's tackled Durso, has it. Travels with it. Is he going to shoot from distance? He is, and it's nowhere near the goal. Instant highlight after the double sub at wing-back. Samir plays into Selby. It goes into Lundberg, into Bernauer. Good football. Can we play it? Progressive pass was there. Lundberg. Lads, you got the progressive pass on. They're going long instead. It's poor. It's so poor from the boys. You had the option to play the progressive pass, lads. You've got to take those opportunities there. Force them back, though. They've gone long. We've got to win this. It's Mbappe in the air or Messi in the air. There we go. Won that. Can't win the second, though, can we? We don't get that sort of numbers advantage. They're playing the same formation as us, effectively. Mbappe goes through, scores 2-0 with a goal kick. Sammy has the ball played to him by the goalkeeper. Ferrezi gets the ball, and he's going to travel with it and look to play it into Talby. He's played a great progressive pass into Ursu this time, which is nice. Lundberg plays in behind Tagore, a bit too direct there. They're going to build their attack. Are they? Do we win this? Oh, they get away with it. In behind to Messi. Messi travels through, plays it across Mbappe, makes it 3. Not good. And that is going to do it. It's going to be 3-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. It was unlucky, really, because if we would have scored that first chance, the one we got the clear one we won, like for the first 35 minutes, they created absolutely nothing. So it's a shame that we don't really have enough forwards that are effective. I think we're slowly making progress in our forward department, but not enough to be the difference in those games. Yeah, that's my conclusion, is that the strikers we've got are all about as good as Morgan, maybe slightly better, but not really that enough of a jump. And yeah, disappointing, but we've got strikers coming in the summer at the very least, and that's already been sorted out. I still think we need a good pacey and behind striker, so there's a chance that, Ruben next year will be gone, Gori will be gone next year, Razzo will be gone. Those 3 players will go, and I'll probably bring in 1 pacey striker, and potentially even Pablo could go, because Pablo's good, but I don't know. Pablo's all right. I'll have to see, though. I need to bring in 1 more, I think, pacey and behind striker, then we're okay for strikers going into next season. Right, okay, so that is your league table currently. It's looking good for European plays. Champions League's looking slightly more difficult right this second, but you never know. We'll see how things develop from this point forwards. In terms of next episode, then, we're at the Cup. We lost the Cup to Rennes. Or Rennes. I was told not to pronounce the S. But yeah, that's who we played there, and we lost in the Cup. So next episode, then, let's come back for Monaco and Lyon, because that's 2 teams ahead of us, both in the top 4. I think by the time we play those 2 games, after those 2 games, we'll know if we're in a top 4 race or if we're out of it. by playing those 4 league games off camera, then those 2 games on camera. Then after that, we could probably then just do the last 3 games, or even the last 2 games of the season, depending on the scenario, right? So let's do that. Let's come back for those 2, and then see a little conclusion into the end of the season. But that is going to do the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series. Absolutely love Moneyball, love Paris FC, and I'll see you next time.